Sup nerds, here's my updated Ruin Mode Turbo deck profile. Starting off with the Tamer, we are playing 4 of the new BT21 Coromon. Your turn once per turn when any of your yellow or red Tamers suspend, draw 1. Much needed draw power for consistency's sake in this deck. I was very happy when this card got revealed. On to the Rooks, we are playing 4 Agumon from EX4. Does Evo on top of Korra for 0. Starting main phase, if you have a red or yellow Tamer in play, gain 1 memory. And then inheritable, your turn once per turn when in one of your red or yellow Tamers become suspended, draw 1. We are looking for that draw power. This is the guy you want to have in your breeding area, ideally. And then we're playing 4 more Agumons from BT12, also Eves on top of Coromon. On play, reveal the top 4 cards of your deck, add a Digimon card with Greymon in its name and 1 Marcus Damon among them to the hand, place the rest of the bottom of the deck in any order. And then inheritable, your turn once per turn when one of your yellow or red Tamers becomes suspended, one of your opponent's Digimon gets minus 2000 DP for the turn. That can help you hit certain thresholds when you're popping stuff, but honestly, the reason why I'm playing this is the on play. This is like one of the best searches in the deck. Speaking of which, we are playing 2 BT16 Agumon, also Eves on top of our yellow Tamer for 0. On play, reveal the top 3 cards of your deck, add 1 Light Fang trait card and 1 Nightclaw trait card, or 1 2-color card among them to the hand, bot deck the rest. And then the inheritable is your turn, all of your opponent's security Digimon get minus 3000 DP, so it functionally makes anything on your field 3000 DP bigger when you're swinging at security. So this guy's searching ability is actually really good. So he himself is a Light Fang, so he can search the other copy, and he can search everything in the deck besides 4 Digimon and 4 options. So you can search all of your other rookies and everything besides 2 Megas and 2 level 7s. And that is it. We're just playing 10 rookies. Onto the 4s, we're playing 4 Geo-Gray from EX4. Eves on top of Agumon with Dinosaur trait for 2 memory. Starting main phase, if you have a red or yellow Tamer in play, gain 1 memory. Very cool. And then inheritable is the same as the EX4 Agu as well as the Koro. You draw a card whenever your Tamers are suspended. Very, very good on the top end and the bottom end. Really happy to see this in your raising area. Then we are playing 4 of the new BT21 Geo. Also Evos and 2 on top of all of our rookies. All turns once per turn when any of your Marcus Damons are played, this Digimon may digivolve into a yellow Digimon card with ShineGreymon in its name in the hand without paying the cost. And the inheritable is your turn. This Digimon gets 2000 DP. The inheritable is whatever. You don't really need it too much. I would say if Mother Shoto was still a deck, that would come up a lot more often. And it does let you out like wall strategies like Magnex. You can actually get bigger than Magnex in this deck, funnily enough. This is really cool because you can just promote this guy, play Marcus, Evo into Rise, and then just pop off on your opponent. It lets you deal like burst damage. Is the best way I could describe it. And that is it. We're actually just playing 8 level 4s. Onto the 5s. We are playing 4 of the new BT21 ShineGreymon. This card is absolutely cracked. Is on top of Geo for 3. You can pay for, something I forgot to mention, you can pay the extra memory cost on any of these guys if it means you're trying to like choke your opponent to 1 or something like that. It lets you manipulate your memory expenditure to where you can choke your opponent. Can come up, so wanted to mention it. So this guy is really, really good. On player when digivolving, for the turn, one of your Marcus Damon is also treated as a 3000 DP Digimon, can't Evo, and gains Rush and Alliance, then one of your Digimon may attack. So let's say you put your opponent to 0 security, but you don't have anything on the field besides a Marcus. You just boom, slam this guy, target the Marcus gains Rush, swing for game. Really cool effect. It also saves you memory whenever you are converting, like if you're promoting one of your level 4s, you can save the 1 memory cost for the BT12 Marcus, even to this guy. Turn the Marcus into a Digimon for free, or the cost of Evoing, I guess. I will say the only thing I don't like about this is the fact that that effect is mandatory. It's like if your opponent has like a Hexablow on the field or something, being forced to turn into a Digimon might be a bit of an issue, but other than that, this card's amazing. It does have the all turns once per turn effect. When any of your yellow or red Tamers are deleted, you may place 1 Marcus Damon from your trash as a top security card. Inheritable is the same effect as that. So at first glance, this actually looks like it's the same effect as some of the previous ShineGreys we've gotten, where it recovers your Marcus Damons. However, this is optional, and this being optional is amazing because if you have multiple of these out on the field, you can swing multiple times in your opponent's security with different Marcuses, and just because one of them dies, you don't have to trigger all of them mandatorily like you would have in the past with the previous ShineGreymons, and you can potentially recover multiple Marcuses. Really cool addition that they did for this archetype is making that optional. I really appreciated that once I noticed that change. Then we are playing 2 BT BT13 Rise Grays, got the Blicky in your face, does evo on top of Geo for 3, obviously. When Digivolving, you may play 1 Marcus Tamer from your hand without paying the cost. And then he has the all turns effect of when any of your red or yellow Tamers are deleted, mandatory, place 1 Marcus Damon from your trash as a top security card. The Inheritable is the same thing. So this is similar recovery, however, this is mandatory. So if you do have both of these on the field at the same time, both of these effects, you do want to trigger this one first since it's not optional. So you can potentially recover a second Marcus with the other guy. And then we are playing 2 Rise X from BT9. This guy does evo for 4 if it's not evoing top of Rise for 1 memory. That does kind of suck. You can mitigate that sometimes, but that's the only downside of this card is it doesn't evo for 3 on top of Geo. But when Digivolving, you may play 1 yellow red Tamer card from your hand without paying the cost. Then if ShineGreymon X anybody's in this Digimon's sources, one of your opponent's Digimon gets minus 2000 DP for the turn for each yellow or red Tamer you have in play. And then your turn, for each Tamer you have in play, this Digimon gets 1000 DP. Pretty good effect. You can pop small bodies or get bodies small enough to be popped by your megas that go on top of him. But all around just a good card. And that is it. We're just playing 8 level 5s. On to our megas. We are playing 4 of the new BT21 ShineGreymon. He does evo for 3 on top of ShineGreymon in name, or you can pay 4 if you're trying to choke your opponent to 1 or whatever. He has raid, which is something that doesn't come up very often, but this is the reason why you now have an answer to wall decks that get really big and are immune, is he can just swing directly into them if they're not suspended. And then when Digivolving / when attacking, once per turn, you may delete one of your opponent's Digimon with 9000 DP or less. Typically, you can get a mega down to that before you Digivolve or on the swings where you can pop them. So you can pretty much keep your opponent from acing you just with this guy's effect alone, which is really cool. Then when attacking once per turn, by suspending one of your yellow or red Tamer's Digimon, gains a security attack +1 and 3000 DP for the turn. So the primary Ruin Mode combo that I will show you guys at the end of the video requires this guy and that when attacking effect. It's kind of disgusting, the fact that you can just continue to do it over and over. This guy is awesome. So as you notice, I put 4 of like every new BT21 card in here so far besides the rookie Agumon. I wanted to play that guy, but you just need the search and draw power that the other ones provide. It doesn't come up often enough to where you can warp into a mega for 4 memory. And then we are still playing 2 BT2 ShineGreymon. Does always evo for 4 if you do pay the memory, whatever. When Digivolving, suspend all of your yellow Tamers. For each Tamer suspended this way, activate the following effect. One of your opponent's Digimon gets minus 4000 DP for the turn, and then your turn, this Digimon gets 1000 DP for each Tamer you have in play. This guy is just a board wipe. If your opponent goes a little too wide for your liking, you can just completely nuke their board with this guy. Still one of my favorite card arts. This guy is just super busted and just amazing. Like this is the original Ruin Mode Turbo Mega, for those of you that are new to the channel. And I was very happy that I ended up putting 2 of these guys in the deck. He wasn't in the list for a while, just so you guys know, but he ended up getting back in there. That is it. We're just playing 6 of those fellers. On to the 7s. We are, of course, playing 4 ShineGreymon Ruin Mode. This guy does evo for 4 on top of ShineGreymon if you're paying the memory for it. Spoilers, most of the time you're not paying the memory for this guy. You can pay 5 though if you're trying to choke your opponent to 1 once again. When Digivolving / on deletion, not once per turn, very important. All of your opponent's Digimon get minus 5000 DP into the end of their turn. End of attack, delete this Digimon and one of your opponent's Digimon and recover +1. Then if you have a Tamer, hatch in your breeding area. This guy's really busted. The ability to repeatedly Ruin Mode your opponent over the course of a couple of turns to where basically they can't play the game is what makes this deck busted, which is why I like this version better than the OTK variant. The OTK variant feels kind of like a glass cannon. If you don't have the combo and you can't actually lethal them through their security, you end up just getting busted up by whatever they respond with, and then you just can't come back from that. Where this just keeps them from playing the game, so it doesn't matter that it takes you like 2 or 3 turns to kill them. Then we actually are playing 2 ShineGreymon Burst Mode A's from BT17. So a lot of the times, if you end up not Ruin Moding your opponent, when playing this deck, you will end up with a suspended Mega and a Marcus on the field, and your opponent may be like, oh, well, now I can swing over their Mega so they can't like start Ruin Mode looping me on their turn. And that's why we're playing this guy, because if they try to do that and you have this in your hand, they do get blown out. Does evo 4 on top of ShineGreymon, or 5 if you want to pay that. On play, when Digivolve, you may play 1 Tamer card from your hand without paying the cost. Then one of your opponent's Digimon gets minus 5000 DP for the turn for each of your Tamers. And then when attacking, by suspending up to 2 of your yellow Tamers, for each one, this Digimon gains security attack +1 for the turn. So if this guy sits on the field, your opponent is probably dead on your next turn. If not, you're just clearing all their security. Both effects are amazing. You do get the on play, so if you play one of the Marcuses that suspends itself to minus 3000 DP, that's an additional additional negative 3k that you need to take into account when you are doing this guy. Also, he's just a really good comeback card as well. You can just slam this guy for 8 memory and potentially kill their boss monster or whatever. This also is an out to Magna X. If your opponent is just trying to swing at your security to re-trigger it, you can just be like, boom, no, get out of here. You're dead now. Because Armor Purge doesn't do anything versus DP reduction, lol. And that is it. We're just playing 6 level 7s. On to the Tamers. You guessed it. 4 BT12 Marcus Damon. If you're playing less than 4 of this card in your ShineGreymon deck, it doesn't matter what variant, you're doing it wrong. Please reevaluate. 4-cost Tamer. Start your main phase. If you have a Digimon with Agumon or Greymon in its name in play, by paying 1 memory for the turn, the Tamer is also treated as a 3000 DP Digimon that can't Evo. And then your turn, when this Tamer becomes suspended, one of Digimon may Digivolve into a yellow card with Greymon in its name in your hand without paying the cost. So, because of how this guy works, he doesn't have to be a Digimon to get the effect when he's suspended. So, if you didn't notice, all of our Megas now have the ability to suspend this guy at will and trigger his effect, which is really cool. The normal Ruin Mode loop for this deck, you actually don't even treat this guy as a Digimon, you just suspend him with your own stuff. And then we are playing 2 of the new Marcus Damons from BT21. Start of your main phase with your opponent's Digimon, gain 1 memory, and then on play, one of your Marcus Damon may suspend. Then that actually is pretty cool and opens up the door to some combos to where like you can already have this guy in play. You can play this guy and trigger his effect to suspend this, or you can play for free off of a Rise Greymon and then get this guy's effect. It's actually pretty cool, the things you can do, but it does require other things already be in play. That's why I am only playing 2 of him, but his utility is pretty cool. And then his other effect is all turns once per turn. When this Tamer suspends, one of your Digimon gains piercing and 3000 DP for the turn, then one of your opponent's Digimon gets minus 3000 DP for the turn. So if you suspend this guy off of the BT21 Shine, if you have no other buffs, he goes to 18,000 DP and you minus 3k on one of their Digimon. If you have the new Geo, he goes to 20. That's how you get over Magna X, because usually they're only going to be about 15 or 16k on your turn unless they've managed to trigger it twice, and you can just swing over it. Yes, they will get an Armor Purge, whatever, but you still outed the Magna X and you can deal with it a lot easier from that point. Then we are still playing 2 BT13 Marcus Damons. He's a 5 cost, but you probably aren't paying the memory for him half the time that you play him. He is a memory setter, and then on play you may suspend him, and then all turns when he becomes suspended, one of your opponent's Digimon gets minus 3000 DP for the turn. Then if you have a Digimon with Agumon and Greymon its name, gain 1 memory. I prefer playing a 2-2 split of these 2 guys because having a memory setter is going to be a lot better than this guy most of the time, especially if you're Ruin Mode looping them to where they aren't able to keep anything on the board. He does come up, so we're just playing a 2-2 split, and that is it. We're just playing 8 Tamers. On to our options. We are playing 4 Physical Training promo. Main, reveal the top 2 cards of your deck, add 1 yellow card among them to the hand, put the rest on the bottom of the deck, then place this card in the battle area. Main, delay, trash it. One of your Digimon may Digivolve into a yellow Digimon card in the hand with the Evo cost reduced by 2. I really wanted this to be memory boosts. However, it is really important that you actually see this particular Marcus Damon for the Ruin Mode loop, and bot decking like several of these off of a memory boost is going to feel really bad. So for that reason, I made the decision to play physicals. Bot decking the other Tamers literally doesn't matter. It's just you want to see BT12 Marcus. That's why we're playing 4, and that's why I don't understand people that play less than 4. But that is it. We're just playing 4 option cards. All right, for the normal combo of this deck, or the one like you're trying to achieve every single game and you end up doing it to your opponent multiple times, is this right here. Just this setup. Doesn't matter what your stack is. This is just like probably like an ideal stack. You just need this Marcus and this ShineGreymon. That's it. And obviously you do need a Ruin Mode. That's why we're playing 4 of that as well. So you do not treat this Marcus as a Digimon. You just swing with this Shine. Triggers effect to delete something 9k or lower if there is a target for it. Trigger his other effects to give him 3000 DP and security attack +1 by suspending this Marcus. Then you will trigger all 3 of these inheritables. If you have them, you will draw 3 cards, which is kind of crazy. And then you'll trigger Marcus's effect, Evo into Ruin Mode for free. Ruin Mode minus 5k to their field, and then he will be 18,000 DP checking 2 security. At the end of the attack, he will delete himself and recover +1, minus another 5k to their board until the end of their turn, and then you will hatch a Tama in your breeding area. And usually you can set up to promote and do the same thing next turn. You draw so many cards that it's actually pretty hard once you get 1 combo off to not draw in 2 cards to continue doing it every single turn. The only thing that might keep you from doing it is potentially not having enough memory the next turn, but you can still mitigate that by setting up trainings or having the memory setter Marcus or whatever. But because you get 2 checks off your Ruin Mode, where previously in the Ruin Mode Turbo deck you only got 1 check, you you actually kill your opponent over the course of 2 to 3 turns, and if you just keep them from playing for 2 to 3 turns, like, you win the game. The previous version kind of sputtered out because you were basically just getting like 1 to 2 checks a turn, but this version can deal a lot of burst damage, so you really only need to control their board for like 2 turns and then you just kill them. This is the deck that won last week's channel members only poll of what I played at my locals, so I will be posting gameplay over the next few days, and once those videos go live, they'll be in the pinned comment below. If you're interested in voting in future polls or getting early access to videos, consider becoming a channel member. The join button be the subscribe button used to be if you're already subscribed. If you guys have any questions or anything I didn't address, feel free to leave them down in the comments. But I appreciate you guys stopping by. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoy seeing this kind of content and want to come back for more. But until next time, see ya.